Good evening from Washington, D.C., and thank you to those of you joining us from around the world for news from a Catholic perspective. I'm Lauren Ashburn. We begin this evening with a deeper look at yesterday's bombshell report from a grand jury in Pennsylvania. The Vatican is declining to comment on the release of an 18-month investigation of the church. It spanned 70 years. The report says 300 priests sexually abused at least 1,000 children. It's being called the most sweeping probe into sex abuse in the church in America. The jury, many of them Catholic, examined 6 dioceses and revealed in graphic detail rapes, sodomy, and mistreatment of girls and boys from 18 months old to teens. It contends there was a culture of cover-up by the hierarchy. Priests were shuffled from diocese to diocese, and some who confessed were returned to ministry. And it found that when law enforcement officials did learn of the abuse, they deferred to church leaders. We are not going to provide the graphic descriptions. The 900-page report can be downloaded on our social media platforms. Some cases highlighted at the top of the report include a priest in the Diocese of Erie who admitted to assaulting at least a dozen young boys. The bishop wrote to thank him for, quote, all that you have done for God's people. The Lord, who sees in private, will reward. In the Diocese of Harrisburg, a priest abused 5 sisters in a single family, despite prior reports that were never acted on. And in Pittsburgh, church officials dismissed an incident of abuse on the ground that the 15-year-old had, quote, pursued the priest and, quote, literally seduced him into a relationship. It's been 16 years to the month since the 2002 Boston sex abuse scandal was uncovered by the Boston Globe. This report acknowledges, quote, some progress is being made by the church. Yesterday, Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro introduced victims via a video montage.
I didn't feel comfortable at all. I still don't feel comfortable now in relationships.
I was very unaffectionate. I couldn't show any affection with my wife.
I had no desire to have children. None, because of this.
And while the report acknowledges that victims are no longer quite so invisible, and that it appears the church is now advising law enforcement more promptly,
we don't think we got them all.
The executive summary concludes that the church has largely escaped public accountability, saying priests were raping little boys and girls, and men of God who were responsible for them not only did nothing, they hid it all for decades.